Would you like to enter a tower that is leaning? A pleasant day, everyone. I am Angel Vence or Camarillo, and today I will discuss and present to you the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Leaning Tower of Pisa is a medieval structure in Pisa, Italy, that is famous for the settling of its foundations, which caused it to lean 5.5 degrees from the perpendicular in the late 20th century. Extensive work was subsequently done to straighten the tower, and its lean was ultimately reduced to less than 4 degrees. In 1990, the tower was closed and all the bells silenced as engineers undertook a major straightening project. Earth was siphoned from underneath the foundations, decreasing the lean by 17 inches to 13.5 feet. The work was completed in May 2001 and the structure was reopened to visitors. The tower continued to straighten without further excavation until in May 2008. Sensors showed that the motion had finally stopped at a total improvement of 19 inches. Engineers expected the tower to remain stable for at least 200 years. It became apparent that the Leaning Tower of Pisa was leaning in the late 20th century, after completion of the first 3 of the tower's planned 8 stories. The leaning was caused by the uneven settling of the building's foundations in the soft ground. The foundations have been strengthened by the injection of cement grout and various types of bracing and reinforcement, but in the late 20th century, the structures was still subsiding at the rate of 0.05 inch per year and was in danger of collapse. The tower's lean gained another 1.6 degrees. To counteract the lean, the builders made the remaining floors taller on the south side of the tower, but the weight of the additional floors only made the foundation sink further, making the lean worse. Having done what they could, the builders finished up and officially completed the tower around 1370. Since the tower's completion, engineers and architects from all over the world have monitored the lean and tried to correct it. These attempts have involved adding grout to the foundation masonry, wrapping plastic-coated steel pieces around the tower up to the second floor, pouring a concrete ring around the base of the tower, laying lead counterweights to the north side, installing anchored cable counterweights, and extracting soil from underneath the north side. At this moment, I will share to you some facts about the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Number 1. It took 2 centuries to build it. It started on ground in August 1173. By 1178, workers had made it to the 3rd story of the structure, which was already tilting slightly to the north. Military conflicts with other Italian states would soon halt progress on the tower, which would not resume until 1272. A final wave of construction picked up again in the early 14th century, concluding with the installation of a bell chamber in 1372. Number 2. At one point, the tower's lean switched directions. When construction resumed in 1272, the additional developments did not exactly help the tower's posture. The stacking of additional stories atop the existing tree jostled the building's center of gravity, causing a reversal in the direction of its tilt. As the tower accrued in its 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th stories, the once northward leaning structure began to tip further and further south. Number 3. The engineer who oversaw this reclamation project wasn't always an expert in the field. John Borland wasn't exactly a prime candidate for a project like solidifying the Leaning Tower of Pisa on paper. Berland admits that soil mechanics, the area of engineering that played a pivotal role in stabilizing of the tower, was his worst subject during his undergraduate studies. Number 4. The Leaning Tower of Pisa is just one of the several leaning towers in Pisa. A number of other Pisani structures suffer foundational instability. Among these are San Nicola, a 12th century church located about half a mile south of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and San Michele degli Scalzi, an 11th century church about 2 miles east of the pair. While San Nicola, whose base is rooted beneath the earth, leans only mildly, San Michele degli Scalzi boasts a substantial 5-degree tilt. Number 5. The tower was a military base during World War II. Even though the tower's distinctive silhouette would seem to make it an easy target, the German army felt it was a prime lookout point during World War II because of the tall tower provided optimal surveillance over the surrounding flat terrain. Number 6. Mussolini tried to fix the tower. He only made it worse. In 1934, Italian dictator Benito Mussolini declared the crooked attraction was a bookmark on his nation's reputation and allocated resources for straightening the building. Mussolini's men drilled hundreds of holes into the tower's foundation and pumped in tons of grout in a misguided effort to rectify its tilt. Instead, the heavy cement caused the base of the tower to sink deeper into the soil, resulting in an even more severe lean. Lastly, a rock dome in Antarctica is named after the tower. Despite having been discovered by the French Antarctic expedition, a particularly hefty rock dome in the Seven Continents Geology Archipelago is named for Italy's Price Tower. The 27-meter-long formation, first documented on Rostand Island in 1951, goes by the nickname of Tour de Pisa, a resemblance to the building. We all learned today that there exists a leaning tower, which is the Leaning Tower of Pisa. One of the most iconic structures ever built by geotechnical engineers and architects became legendary because it was poorly constructed. But right now, one of the most popular tourist attractions in all of Italy, and wouldn't be the same if it weren't leaning. So I am asking you once again this question. Would you like to enter a tower that is leaning? I am Vence Camarillo. Thank you for listening to my presentation.